Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. This is the case of the Idaho 4. May the victims rest in peace. Condolence to the families. Hunter Chapin said that Hunter Johnson came to him at the Sigma Chi fraternity and told him that Zana and Ethan were unalived. So if that is the case, like they said on Amazon Prime, then when did Hunter Johnson get the time to go to the Sigma Chi? Because we saw him at the crime scene. He was going inside and outside 1122 King Road. The knife wasn't there, and then all of a sudden it was on the table. He had his hands around his neck, behind his neck. So when DM allegedly called Emily and told her to come down, she's scared, I thought Emily, Hunter Johnson, Josie, and Josie's boyfriend all walked together down to 1122 King Road. That's what it seems like. So when did Hunter Johnson get time to go to Hunter Chapin at the Sigma Chi and tell him that? Is my question.
Like any other, with a big football game. The friends snapping this photo that Saturday.
It was a normal weekend for us, just hanging out with our friends.
The next morning, Emily says Dylan, one of the surviving roommates, called her concerned, asking her and Hunter to come over. In the documentary, you tell the story of really not feeling alarmed when Dylan called you.
I joked around with her on the phone. It's something you would never expect.
It's November, so I had shorts on, slides on. Like, I wasn't prepared to obviously stay there. I was just going over to check to see what's going on. I would say as soon as you get there, you know something's wrong.
Hunter was the first person to arrive to King Road to discover what happened. Their friend Josie Louderin, who was also there, describing the moments in the docuseries.
As soon as I stepped in the house, I was like, oh, something is so not right. Like, you could feel it almost. Hunter was ahead of me and Emily and immediately was pushed out, and Hunter was like, get out, somebody call 911.
You hear Hunter on the 911 call telling the girls there was an unconscious person protecting them from the graphic details.
Is she breathing?
No.
How did you remain so calm in that moment?
Truly, in my heart, I believe God was with me that day, and he gave me the strength to get through that day.
As authorities entered the home, the friends say they were told to sit outside, waiting for hours with little information.
Is this red stains or brown stains? DM said that Kaylee was crying in the bathroom. We thought that it was Kaylee's bathroom. But now it mentions the bathroom on the second floor. So where was Kaylee found? Was she found in Zana and Ethan's room? Was this crime scene staged? Doesn't make sense. DM, his room is the most fascinating room, in my opinion, if it comes to a crime scene. You have something that looks like ropes or cloth ropes tied to her bed. You have the scary movie mask. Doesn't it look like something out of a horror movie? In my opinion. What is all these stains on the pillowcases, on the blanket, everything basically? You can see that white rope goes right down. Steve Gonsalves said 2 months ago that he heard that the girls, that means Kaylee and Maddie, may they rest in peace, were gagged up. Maddie and Zana were allegedly bullying DM on Halloween, 13 days before the quadruples. I don't know if Ethan did anything to DM, but he would obviously back his girlfriend. Just saying, it's just a thought. And it was DM that invited Kaylee to be a plus one. So is it DM having all the gatherings? Don't forget, Maddie put her up on TikTok. DM herself looked like she was gagged on Halloween. What if she did the same? But what if they took it too far? Because it wasn't only one person or one group. I believe for 3 unidentified male DNAs to be found there, and the talk of 4 alternative suspects, has to be 3 or 4 different people. And I don't think that's far-fetched. Doesn't mean that all of them are doing the unalivings. It just means that some are on the lookout, some are the cleanup crew, some are staging it. In my opinion, something is not right because it doesn't take 8 hours not to call 911. These people would rather be in the smell of 4 deceased human beings, may they rest in peace. So something is not right. As to Jack D and his hands and the way he was, surprises me, in my opinion. Think about it this way. Jack D was the only person who got himself an attorney while he was in his interview on the 15th of November. The detective put him in the Land Cruiser for 45 minutes. Jack D is important because Maddie and Kaylee spent a couple of hours of their last night at the corner club with Jack D. They tried calling him 10 times on the whole. Why did he get himself an attorney? Why did the officer ask him to draw each and every room and which victim lives in which room? That man knew the house in and out. Was this a crime of passion? Was he Kaylee's stalker? Just a question. He's the only one I see at the crime scene with injuries on his hand and fingers. Not even DM has that. It's good that we're getting all the reports. Jack D's report is the one that baffles me. But it's interesting that we haven't got anything on David Berry and David Lodge. I don't think we're going to get anything on them. Although the Sigma Chi fraternity boys, the whole of Sigma Chi or Sigma Chi was under the microscope. They were under investigation. Do you all believe they're going to tell us why? I don't think so. 4chan Anonymous made most sense. Everything he told us about David B. and David Lodge, in my opinion, seems to have happened. And I think whatever was brewing between David B., David Lodge, against Zana and Ethan, and the other target was Maddie. I think, unfortunately, they went too far that night. These people had planned that they were going to do it within 19 minutes. The 19 minutes theory makes the most sense. And for Chan told us that DM heard rummaging upstairs at 2:15, and she thought it was the Sigma Chi fraternity boys. They said they're going to do it in 19 minutes. If you go from the timeline of the last call Maddie and Kaylee made to Jack D, that's 2:53, 2:52. Start from 2:53 to 3:12. That's 19 minutes. That's when you see the figures running back to the Sigma Chi fraternity. That's the 19-minute theory. And I definitely believe that's one part of these unalivings. In my opinion, pay attention to the fact that they're not talking about the party that happened at the Sigma Chi fraternity. Why aren't they talking about that? That's the time David B. says that he saw Zana and she said, we need to chill together. How come we haven't chilled together? And he says, oh yeah, we should do that more often, or we should do that. Which is all a lie. And David Lodge with the cap wanted Zana for himself. And David B with the glasses was Ethan's tutor. And he was doing a lousy job. That night, a fight broke out between the Davids, Zana and Ethan, against Zana and Ethan. And Ethan allegedly called David Lodge and David B. shrivel balls. He called them butt buddies. He said you're on a steroid rage. Allegedly David Lodge. You can imagine if he's on steroids or addicted to that. He'd be very aggressive, full of rage. And these unalivings does sound like people who are either jealous, full of rage, anger, different things. I have it on good authority. Cousin is a cop in a nearby town, but called in to help in Moscow. One school started back up. Apparently, the investigation is looking directly at the Sigma Chi frat party Ethan and Zana attended to from 8 to 9 p.m. that night. He did not have any updates on the timeline after they left between 9 to 1:45, but did say it looks like the investigation is honing on 2 suspects from the party that night, and an update should publicly name them by the end of the week. Never happened. Sigma has made their social private and removed all info from Facebook going back a few years. I said that in my last clip. They believe Ethan and Zana were the main targets, stemming from an argument that night. I think, honestly, according to Ryan and the Sigma Chi frat boys, it was pre-planned from September, but I think the party was the correct time, the right time for them to do it, because it was a Vandals night. Although the Vandals lost, There was parties blooming, loud music, a lot of distraction. A lot was happening. So Ethan, Zana, and Maddie were their targets, definitely. Downstairs, survivors could hear two males rummaging through the room above them. That means on the third floor. It was an after party. They locked their doors, that's Bethany Funk and DM, about 30 minutes before the 911 call. They called their friends at Sigma to come over, who in turn called the police. Who did they call from the Sigma Chi? Does he mean Hunter? It's right across the street, and for whatever reason they believed it was the people from the Sigma Chi upstairs around 2:15 that night. So the Sigma Chi fraternity boys were rummaging upstairs at 2:15 a.m. I've always said, in my humble opinion, that it's two different incidents from day one. And I've always said the reason it's two different incidents is Zana and Ethan got unalived before Maddie and Kaylee. Maddie and Kaylee walked into something happening or something happened already to Ethan and Zana, in my opinion. Only my speculations. So at 2:15, according to 4chan Anonymous, DM and BF locked their doors. They heard the rummaging upstairs, and that was at 2:15. So Dirty South Lot did it, and Rogan Jack was in on it. TITTIS was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Madison's bed. Now, guys, pay attention. This came out, I believe, on the 12th. No, sorry, not on the 12th. It came out on a couple of days after the unalivings. Was it the 14th, 15th? And pay attention to what they said. So Dirty South Lot did it, and Rogan Jack, I think they mean Jake, was in on it. Titties was in wrong place at the wrong time. Okay. Madison's bed. So Kaylee and Maddie were found in Madison's bed. And nobody knew about it. And they already wrote that. Yes, except Rogan Jack, they mean Jake, was not in it. It was Schizo, C-U-N-T Berry, and Dirty South Lot. So that'll be those two, David Berry and David Southlot, that did it, according to 4chan. It wasn't Jake. Rogan Jake, the one they're calling, is not Jack, it's Jake, and that is Maddie's ex. So it's not him. But isn't this interesting? They said that they would be found in Madison's bed. And Kaylee and Maddie were found at Madison's bed. Why aren't these idiots not arrested? Sorry for my language. One day Fratern is Ethan's brother. I've always wondered that. Or sister. It is somebody who's been trying to tell us the whole time what happened that night. If you remember, one of the first pictures I ever exposed in this case was this one, what Saeed was watching. And we didn't even know that Kaylee was found in the sitting position until her mother and father said that in the interview. I've always wondered who the person downstairs in the ski mask is. Whenever it's Showalter, because he had on a white hoodie. Just wondering. Or Jack D, since he got an attorney. What I'm trying to say is if you look at the pictures, And then you go back to what 4chan told us the first couple of days after the unalivings. That is scary. 4chan Anonymous told us that Mad Madison will be found and Kaylee in Madison's bed. They did it in the 19 minutes. And I don't think that was all 4 victims. It was only Kaylee and Maddie. They must have been involved even with Ethan and Zana. The Davids were out for Ethan and Zana, allegedly. It's just sad to see that the real people, the real suspects, occupants of the White Sierra, have never been caught. So imagine if they do it again. This was another picture Saeed was watching. If you pay attention to the people sitting on the floor, are they gagged up? Ford was asked for the last almost 3 years, have the students been, have the victims been gagged? And now we have Kaylee's father, Steve G., saying that he heard the girls, that's Kaylee and Maddie, were gagged. There's a reason they put this case on a gag order, so that after Koberger makes a plea deal, they could just throw it on our faces. Like I've always said from day one, I've never changed my focus on the fraternities, sororities, and the surviving roommates. Let me know what you'll think, guys. Guys, please like, share, and subscribe, especially press the thumbs up, guys. It does help the YouTube algorithm. Have a lovely evening.